Welcome to your favorite channel, where you'll learn everything you need to know to improve your health and lifestyle. Let's get started.
You know that feeling, right? You're lying in bed, you're totally exhausted, but your mind is just racing. It's so frustrating, and it happens to almost all of us. But what if I told you the secret to amazing sleep isn't just about being tired? What if it's about a very deliberate, structured plan for that last hour before you even turn out the lights?
Think about it. We spend so much time and energy trying to optimize our workdays, our meals, our workouts, but what about the most critical transition we make every single day? The one from being awake to getting deep, restorative sleep. Well, it turns out, this 1 hour, that specific window right before bed, holds all the secrets. Let's dive in and see why. We're calling it the Power Hour. And listen, this isn't just a collection of cozy, nice-to-have tips. This is a science-backed protocol. Every single step we're about to go through is specifically designed to downshift your body and your brain, getting them ready for sleep. Seriously, mastering these 60 minutes isn't just a small tweak, it's a total game changer for your health.
Okay, but before we start that 60-minute countdown, we have to talk about the foundation, because the Power Hour works best when you've already set the stage for it during the day. It's kind of like trying to build a house, right? You just can't build a great house on a shaky foundation. The exact same thing is true for getting a great night's sleep.
The biggest thing here is consistency. Waking up at the same time every single day. Yep, even on weekends. It anchors your body's internal clock. That's your circadian rhythm. Think of it as your own personal 24-hour master clock that tells your body when it's time to be alert and when it's time to feel sleepy. Getting some daylight first thing in the morning, that's like hitting the big start button on that clock, and exercise helps build up healthy sleep pressure. If you get these things right, your Power Hour becomes way more powerful.
All right, foundation is in place. Now, it's time for the main event. Let's start the clock on your 60-minute sleep countdown. This is your step-by-step, actionable plan to send a clear signal to your body and mind that it's time to get some serious rest. So here's our roadmap. At the 60-minute mark, we go on a full digital detox. 15 minutes after that, we're going to use a really simple trick to reset our body's temperature. And then at the 30-minute mark, we'll start to actively release all the tension from the day. Each one of these phases targets a very specific biological trigger for sleep.
So why do we start with the digital detox? Well, it's all about this one hormone, melatonin. The easiest way to think about it is as the gatekeeper for sleep. When it gets dark outside, your brain releases melatonin, and that basically opens the sleep gate. The problem is, as we're about to see, the wrong kind of light at night slams that gate shut.
And here is the problem in a nutshell. The blue light that comes from our phones, our TVs, our tablets, it's a huge melatonin blocker. From an evolutionary standpoint, our brains see that blue light and think it's daylight. It's literally screaming at your brain, hey, it's noon, stay awake. And get this, a whopping 90% of adults are doing this to themselves. Red light, on the other hand, is much more like the light from a sunset or a campfire. It's way less disruptive, and it allows melatonin to actually do its job.
And if you need to see the proof, just look at this. The difference is absolutely dramatic. This study measured people's melatonin levels after 2 hours of light exposure. Take a look at the bar for blue light. Melatonin levels are just crushed, all the way down to 7.5. Now look at the red light bar, a nice healthy 26. This is all the proof you need for why putting that phone away is probably the single most important first step you can take.
Okay, next up, that body temperature reset we talked about. Now, I know this sounds totally backwards, right? Take a warm bath to cool down. But here's the cool science behind it. The warm water actually brings all the blood to the surface of your skin, to your hands and your feet. This helps your internal body heat escape way more efficiently once you get out. And that drop in your core temperature, that's another huge biological signal to your brain that says, hey, it's time for sleep. So, we've handled light, we've handled temperature, two huge physical triggers. Now we've got to move on to calming the mind and the body. This is where we start to deal with all that mental chatter and the physical tension that we've been carrying around all day. It's really all about lowering our stress hormones.
We're going to start with journaling, but I want you to think of this as a scientific tool. There's actually a name for it, cognitive offloading. It's really just the simple act of getting all those thoughts out of your head and putting them down on paper so your brain doesn't have to keep spinning on them. This process literally calms down the anxiety center of your brain, and maybe most importantly, it lowers the stress hormone cortisol.
And here's a super simple, really powerful way to do it. Step 1 is the brain dump. Just get every single worry, every to-do list item out on the page. Then, step 2, you pivot. You shift your focus to gratitude to change your mental state. And finally, step 3, you set a simple, positive intention for tomorrow. This little sequence is just a fantastic way to give your mind a sense of closure for the day.
Next up, we deal with physical tension. You know how when you're stressed, your shoulders just kind of creep up towards your ears? Well, gentle static stretching is the key to releasing that. We are definitely not trying to get a workout in here. The goal is the complete opposite. Just like journaling, this helps lower those cortisol levels, sends powerful signals of calm to your brain, and gets your muscles ready for the stillness of sleep.
All right, we are in the home stretch now. The lights are low, our mind is calmer, our body is more relaxed. These last 10 minutes are all about using very specific, powerful techniques to actively guide yourself across that finish line into sleep.
The 4-7-8 method is a fantastic tool for this. People call it a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. Let's just try one slow cycle together. Put your tongue just behind your top teeth. Okay? Now exhale completely through your mouth. Make a whoosh sound. Good. Now close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Now hold it for 7. And now exhale slowly through your mouth for a full 8 counts. See? Just doing that a few times can make a huge difference.
And for a truly systematic, powerful approach, let's talk about the famous military method. This was literally designed for people to be able to fall asleep under the most stressful conditions you can possibly imagine. It's an incredible tool, but I'll be honest, it does take a little bit of practice.
Yeah, the backstory here is key. This whole technique was developed so that soldiers could get critical rest even in the middle of a combat zone. I mean, that's how powerful it is. But, and this is important, it requires consistency. So please don't get discouraged if it doesn't work for you the very first time. They say it can take up to 6 weeks to really perfect. But if you stick with it, the results can be absolutely amazing.
It all breaks down into 3 pretty simple phases. First, you relax your face. Just systematically let go of every single muscle, your forehead, your jaw, even your tongue. This sends a huge safety signal to your brain. Next, you drop your body. Let your shoulders and arms feel super heavy, and just let that feeling of relaxation sink all the way down to your toes. And finally, you clear your mind. Just hold a calm, quiet image in your head for 10 seconds. If a random thought pops in, just gently repeat the words, "Don't think, don't think."
So there you have it, a complete toolkit for building your ultimate nighttime routine. Look, you don't have to do everything all at once. The real goal is to create a ritual that actually works for you. So my question is, what's the one thing you're gonna try tonight to start your journey to better sleep? Your best rest is really just a routine away.
Here are some tips to help you have a healthy and strong body and mind. Remember that we upload videos every day.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about how to biohack your health span for a longer, healthier life. This quote really nails it. The goal isn't just more years, it's more good years, you know?
So this brings us to a crucial idea: the difference between your lifespan and your health span. Get this, on average, we spend 20% of our lives in poor health. The goal is to shrink that. So the big question is, what can we actually do to build a longer, better health span?
We're going to break it down using this idea, the pyramid of longevity. Let's start from the bottom up.
All right, first up is the foundation. These are the absolute non-negotiables for a long and healthy life.
So you've got 5 pillars: nutrition, movement, sleep, stress, and oral health. Nailing these is step 1.
Okay, moving up the pyramid. Now we're talking tools, using science and tech to enhance those basics. And this is really what biohacking is all about, using data to take control of your own biology. Think about things like wearables, red light therapy, or even VR to really dial in your daily habits.
Then there are specific compounds, backed by data, that can literally support you on a cellular level. Now for the very top of the pyramid, the scientific frontier. This is where things get really cutting edge.
And it's all driven by this one huge question: is aging itself a disease we can actually treat?
Scientists are looking at existing drugs, like GLP-1s and others, for their potential anti-aging effects.
One key strategy? Using senolytics to clear out old zombie cells that actually drive the aging process.
Plus, new diagnostics can measure your biological age and find disease way before you'd ever feel it.
So the real point here is how to put this all together for your own personalized journey.
Remember the pyramid. Master that foundation first. Then optimize with data. And then explore the frontier with an expert.
So the tools are here, the science exists. The only question left is, how are you going to use them?
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers so I can bring you better content. See you tomorrow with a new video.